at KTN Kenya, at Malika Kazia. The hashtag KTN Business will get you through to us very, very simply. But keeping it with the insurance conversation that I promised you before we took that short commercial break, joining me from our city center studios is Caroline Laichana. She is the acting CEO of Sanlam Life Insurance, and we want to engage her in a conversation about the insurance and terror attacks and what kind of precautions insurance can help businesses take. Thank you so much, Caroline, once again for staying with me here. And my first question is, as an insurance company, how often do you see businesses opt to take the cover for, in case of any terror attacks? Are they very much prone to do this? Are they more reluctant usually? Is it something common for businesses to do?
It is very common for the corporate businesses, really, like the malls, the corporate customers generally, to take insurance on annual basis. But then we see a lot of fluctuations in terms of the cycle in which the retail customers take terrorism insurance. In the industry, what we've done is that we've bundled political violence and terrorism together, and therefore what the retail customers do, that is the individual customers, they normally will opt to take PVT, what you call PVT, the political violence and terrorism cover, mostly during the electioneering period. And when that period is over, then they actually lapse their policies. So it means that they kind of select, more of speculate when they need the political violence and terrorism cover. But then the other SMEs, corporates, we usually have it on a consistent basis. So we see the uptake is good on the corporate side, but then the retail, who are really the masses, do not take it on regular basis. It's more like a cycle for them.
Okay, and like you mentioned, when we have electioning periods, that's when they're more keen on taking this, both the covers that are available. Like you say, they've lumped them together. But, such situations, of course, unprecedented, they're unpredictable, and they're very, very terrifying, yes, as well as very, very hurtful for these businesses too. Now, when we look at, I'll use the Westgate attack as a reference point here for what we saw happen at the Dusit complex in terms of terror attacks that we have experienced. We saw that the amounts of premium depend on the property. Westgate, for instance, was insured for approximately 6.7 billion, plus there were tenants who had claims for about 4.2 billion. It added up to over 10 billion, which was a third of the total industry payout of 2012 in comparison. So it was definitely, an unprecedented event. This was a mammoth amount then. So when we talk about those people who had their offices in the Dusit complex, how are they going to manage to reclaim that? What do you see happening in that situation?
Yeah, currently, now most of the businesses that were at Dusit complex are out of operation.
Yes.
Until they resume operations, when maybe the repairs have been done and the area has been declared safe, and of course the building has been reinstated in the proper working condition. And during this time, there is, of course, the business interruption. So you realize that if you did not have terrorism cover, what is likely to happen is that you'll not get any compensation from insurance. So it becomes an absolute loss of income for you. You remain with your payroll for your staff. You have stock maybe that was damaged. Perhaps you've lost your capital. And some businesses might be completely destroyed. So really you realize the only safe business that was affected by the Dusit is that which that had taken out insurance for terrorism.
Okay, so when you talk about that, and of course, yes, we'll see how it plays out as the days go along and when they resume operations. That's still a conversation for the future. But, when you talk about these tenants safeguarding themselves and those who have insurance are the ones who are going to be able to reclaim, how much would you estimate that a business would pay for a premium of this, with this particular cover?
It depends on the nature of the business. Terrorism premium rates differ from business to business. It also differs depending on the risk attitude of the customer, the security measures that the customer has employed, and such like factors. So they are the underwriting factors that we look at, but one thing I can assure the public is that terrorism cover is a very affordable insurance cover.
Okay, you know, just to give us a figure, what would be the minimum any business would pay?
There isn't really a minimum, but for instance, if I would give you the motor vehicle insurance, what we do is that when you come for your motor vehicle insurance and you request for a terrorism extension, we give you a rate of between 0.25% and 0.3% of the value of your car with a minimum of about 3,000 to 5,000 Kenya shillings. So you realize like those cars that were touched at the Dusit complex would only maybe have paid 0.3% of the value. But then if they didn't have terrorism cover, they will not be covered by insurance in this instance.
Okay. Okay, yeah. And you know, when we talk about the entire complex, usually, as I believe, and you could clarify that for us, the person that takes the insurance of the entire building is the property owner. So is it that the tenants then have to chip in towards that, or then they also have to have their specific space insured individually? How does that work?
What's important when you take insurance is to really disclose exactly the arrangement that you have. For instance, in a multi-tenanted property, you may not be able to insure the building because it's not your building. You have multiple tenants who pay to a particular landlord. So most likely the landlord has taken out insurance for his building. He may or may not have the terrorism cover because you have no influence over what he does with his building. However, assuming maybe you have a salon in the premises or a boutique and you want to insure your business, then what you need to do is when you come to us, you declare the value of the stock in your business, and then we will look at the declared value and of course, the other security measures around your business that are in place, and then we'll rate your risk, and then we'll price it, and then we'll tell you what to pay for the cover. So you can still reach out to the insurance as long as you disclose the agreements that are around your business in terms of leasing and the landlord relationship.
Okay, all right. As you say, you know, that's a collaboration. It depends on the arrangement specifically. Yeah. But finally, as we wrap up, you know, Caroline, one of the issues that the insurance sector grapples with is, of course, fraudulent claims. And now, in a terror attack situation like this, there is no way that can be a scenario because it is out there. It is massive. It is a matter of national security. But aside from that, when you have businesses that are taking out insurance, how do you vet, you know, when it comes to the liability of fraudulent claims from business to business?
Well, for instance, if I talk about Dusit, this is a place that has been cordoned off by the security forces in the country. So insurance officers cannot access the premises that they have insured until such a time when it's open to us. So until then we have nothing we can do, really. We can only give the benefit of doubt that where the businesses were left, they are at that point. And when we come in, then we send loss adjusters, and they take photographs of the damage, they look at what has happened, they take stock of what the situation is like, and then they come back to us with estimates of the losses. Then, of course, we reach out to the customers to just tell us what was happening to the business just before the loss. So ours is to compensate the customer to the level at which they were at before the terrorism event took place. Talking about fraud, it is difficult really to eradicate fraud in totality, but what we do then, we try to be as prudent as possible in analyzing claim situations, such that now, like in this case, we will rely on the records that the businesses have. We rely at the reports we've been getting from the media on the affected units. There are incidents reports on site from the security company that was involved. So those are the things that we look at. But generally, yes, fraud is a big item in the insurance industry. And all we do really is to put our minds together when we analyze a claim, and then we deal with it according to what has been presented to us.
Okay, thank you so much, Caroline, for speaking to us today. Your insights are much appreciated.
Thank you.
That was Caroline Laichana, Sanlam Life Acting CEO. And we did ask you a question on insurance, actually. That was our Twitter poll. And it was, as a business owner, what reasons could be stopping you from insuring your business? So some of the responses that I want to share, Stefan said corruption in the insurance